we talk about a slake test, we're talking about the ability to look at water in the or look at soil in the presence of water. Okay. Sand, silt, and clay. There's also air in the soil, right? And so when water runs into those pore spaces where the air is, what happens? That's the question. So Harry, I had to understand this before I could understand this. That's what I was missing in this. And this is something that I think is key for us to get a visual understanding. So with the slake test, we're going to put these soil peds for the soil scientists, soil clods for us farm boys, in the water. And when we do that, we're going to watch and see what happens. This soil is from this tray. The other soil is from this tray, okay? So if you're close enough, you can see that there's now air bubbles coming out of those soil particles, those pads, right? You see a few air bubbles. What's that? That's the water rushing into that pore space, displacing the air, pushing it out. What else are we seeing? For those of you that are close, what do you see?
One on the left is sitting there, the one on the right is dissolving.
Would you say that the same action is taking place as far as the water goes on each clod? I mean, as far as the water pressure, the ability of the water to move into essentially the same, right? And yet we're seeing a little bit of a difference.
One's falling apart.
One of them's falling apart. That's key to remember when we start looking at our rainfall simulator. This clod of soil is dissolving. So when it rains, the water does two things. What is it? What are they? Excuse me. What happens?
Runs off or infiltrates.
Runs off or infiltrates. So it runs off or it runs in, right? That runs off, what's the benefit to us? In ag production, I'm saying, what's the benefit to us? We might fill a pond, right? Navigational waters of the, okay, keep the rivers up, okay. But if we're growing a crop, do we get to use that water? The obvious answer is no, isn't it? This column of water that we're using in these jars, the value of that is it allows us to see what happens when it rains, in that the first process of erosion is not for the soil to run down the hill. The first thing that happens is that it collapses. That's key, remember that. Once it collapses, then it runs off. Does that make sense? That column of water allows us to see that. Now then, there's some turbidity here. We see maybe a water quality issue here. We see some implications of that. But really the purpose of this for us in understanding the rainfall simulator is that the first action that takes place on a soil that does not have aggregate stability is that it dissolves and it collapses on itself. That column of water allows us to see that. Our no-till, it'll be like this next week if we come back. The water is inside that. If we were to take that clod and break it open, it'd be wet all the way through. The pore spaces are intact. They're stable. We have stable aggregate stability here. So that's just the way that's going to be. Would that aid in infiltration? Does that make sense? You see the connection there? All right. Okay, so we're going to